I finally mustered the willpower to stand in line to visit a Goyard store just to get up close and personal with their bags. Can someone please kindly explain to me what I am missing, because I simply do not understand the hype. What exactly am I paying premium for here? Welcome or welcome back to your briefcase of luxury, where we love to chat about all things related to life, learning, and luxury. And while I have no intentions of quitting my day job as a business professor, I would love to continue to grow this channel, so thank you for being here today. Now, I hope everyone is having a wonderful summer so far. My husband and I just got back from our first little summer vacation trip. And of course, what's a summer vacation trip without a little bit of summer vacation shopping? So today, I want to share with you all of the bags, jewelry, and other knickknacks that I got a chance to play with in store from Louis Vuitton, Celine, Goyard, Hermes, Fendi, and others. And let's just see if anything unexpected has weaseled its way onto my list of future wants. Now, if you're new to my channel, just know that being able to visit a store and to see and to touch things in person is a big deal, because I don't live near any designer boutiques. So every time I know I'm traveling to a place that has boutiques, I'm making a list and I'm checking it twice, because I want to stop buying things that I haven't seen or tried on in person. I've been there, I've done that, and it's all too easy for me to settle with online purchases, because retailers are also making it less easy to make online returns. But back to our topic, there were quite a few stores that I just walked right on by, namely Chanel, Dior, Gucci, which is surprising because I usually like to at least go in and take a spin, since who knows when I'll get a chance to do that again. But honestly, there's just nothing on my immediate wish list from these brands. But we are going to start off strong with Louis Vuitton, because I think I went to 2 to 3 locations. And as much as I have harped on their Murakami drops, I of course had to go in just to see if there were any scraps left to purchase in store. And surprise, surprise, there were, because as I mentioned, by this last cherries drop, the hype just hasn't been hyping as much. So I got a chance to play around with some shoes, some wallet, the cosmetics pouch. I want to say every store I went to had the pouch available. Some handbags such as the Neverfull, I think the little East to West Pochette Matisse in white, the Alma BB, and of all the bags, that was the only one I even bothered trying on. Now, one store even still had like the capucines from the first drop. So again, I mean, sure, many of the popular pieces weren't available. Like if they had any bandeaus, I may have been tempted, but all they had were like the big scarves, or even any key clays or card holders, but they only had the bigger wallets. But this was still a lot more than what I was expecting to see, considering this dropped like over a month ago. So suffice to say, as much as I have a revived interest in Louis Vuitton, I'm pretty sold on going the vintage route, just like I did with my Panda bag. So there are a couple of Murakami vintage pieces that I'm currently tracking, but I'm just waiting for a bit more of the hype to die down to see if these prices course correct. I did also see some other stuff that I've been interested in trying on, like the Speedy Soft and the P9. Not that I had planned on buying any of those, but it's just nice to get confirmation once I saw them in person. I just don't think the price premium is worth it, but it was nonetheless fun to see what the hype was about. And I get it, it's a very nice tactile experience to feel canvas that is so supple and relaxed. However, what completely stole my heart at Louis Vuitton was that silly little donut charm on the P9. Like, oh my goodness. Louis Vuitton has a bunch of cutesy food themed charms at the moment, like their biscuit and chocolate charms. But this one, which is kind of more like a coin pouch, maybe a bit bigger than the regular coin pouch, that was the one thing that I did not go in looking for that completely made my heart happy. And speaking of cutesy food charms, how can we not talk about Fendi? They have been absolutely killing it with any type of cuisine you can think of. So I wanted to see the honey pot charm, which unfortunately they did not have in store. However, I did get to play around with their little hot dog charm, their French toast charms, but there was one item that just rose above them all, hands down, and I am so happy that they brought back the onigiri pouch. Yes, it is very impractical because of its shape, its size, and its material, but man, is it cute. At one point in the past, I was desperately trying to find one on the pre-loved market. So to say I was tempted was an understatement. Now, in terms of bags, yes, I did also try on the new Mama Baguette. And as much as I do love the squishy leather and how it just melts into a puddle, I just wasn't a fan of the drawstrings. They just looked messy. So at this point, the search for the perfect baguette continues. And again, I have a feeling I'm going to have to go the vintage route for my first baguette. Okay, one more note on bag charms and we'll move on. But there was a PopMart where we were, and I just had to go in to see what the hype was about. It was unpleasant because it was super busy. And again, what am I missing here? What is happening? Like, how is this cute? But people were going nuts. And by people, I mean, yeah, there were a couple of kids in the store, but it was mostly adults, including adults carrying their Birkins that have like a little plastic protector over their little bag charms and dolls. It's giving me plastic couch cover vibes. Now we're gonna go through this next store fairly quickly, only because I couldn't take pictures in there, and it's Goyard. We walked by it twice before I decided to just bite the bullet and go in and check them out. Based on like reviews and pictures and videos, I'll be lying if I said my interest wasn't piqued, because I love the idea of lightweight, carefree materials, and the Goyard canvas just seems to check all of those boxes. So I did stand in line for like not even 10 minutes, and when I got in, I did ask to see 3 bags. The Plumette wallet, the Mini Anjou, and the hobo-looking bag. And the SA brought out all 3 in the colors I asked for. So apparently stock at this location was not an issue, but to say I was underwhelmed can't even begin to describe my feelings. Like, I couldn't even hide it on my face. Even my husband was just kind of like scratching on the canvas material. Like, what is this? And why is this thousands of dollars? So yeah, Goyard's a no-go for me, sorry. Like, if I ever caved and unboxed a Goyard product on my channel, I'd be ashamed deep down, because I would know that I bought it for all of the wrong reasons. Next up, let's just lump all of the jewelry stores together, because we went just into 2 stores, and no, one of them wasn't Van Cleave, just because, again, nothing I'm interested in from Van Cleave, but I did go to a Chaumet for the first time, and I tried on their iconic Be My Love rings, even though I think they're now called Be My Chaumet. And I made my husband try one on as well, and he surprisingly really liked it. So who knows, we may be looking at our new updated wedding bands. Of course, we also went into Cartier, because I always like to swap out my Trinity rope bracelet, and this time I went with red. I also asked to see their new Panthère bags. I mean, not that I need another. I do have one in the mini size in black with the champagne gold hardware, but I kind of low-key would like a lighter color one with palladium hardware instead. And I saw online that they now have like a little clutch with a top handle and a backpack. And I was really hoping they had those in store, but they didn't. So moving forward, I will be keeping an eye out for those. I did also stop in Loewe because of their puzzle bag anniversary, which I have never owned a puzzle bag, despite it being something that would be totally up my alley. It's just one of those bags I've always liked, but apparently never enough to prioritize actually getting one. Especially now when there seems to be so many good quality mid-tier dupes. So part of me wonders if the new Puzzle Soft or Puzzle Feather, whatever it's called, I wonder if it's finally my sign to reconsider the puzzle bag. But unfortunately, those actually seem to be hard to get a hold of. At least I was told there's a wait list for them. However, I did get to try on one of their new designs, and I just loved the layered pressed suede leather situation here. It's so intricate and beautiful. It's kind of like a geode, you know? But yeah, as beautiful as that one was, I knew it wasn't the one for me, so I will keep waiting until I can get my hands on the soft version, and we'll go from there. We also went into Prada because while I know I don't need an alternative travel bag to my nylon bucket bag, I just couldn't help myself, okay? So I went in to look for the quilted nylon version of the same bucket bag, which I think you can kind of see them in this picture here, but I ended up also trying on a bunch of the little quilted re-edition bags as well. Like, my want for a white nylon bag is still strong, but at the same time, I still know that deep down, that's just not a good idea. Even something like this tan one would be a better option. Now, I went into Celine twice, and both times I went in there on a mission. I wanted to try on the Romy and the Heloise, and I did. Yay. I mean, they were nice, but at the end of the day, I just wasn't feeling them. Like, not enough to definitively say, yes, these are 100% staying on my imaginary wish list. There just wasn't anything special enough about them, especially when I feel like, again, many mid-tier brands have been doing a fantastic job with this sort of slouchy hobo silhouette. We did go to another Celine store another day only because I forgot to try on the supple version of the Triomphe. I think it's officially called the Victoire. And that one I did like more than the Romy and the Heloise, but I just didn't like how heavy the chain strap was. Okay, don't be mad, but I did stop into Balenciaga, not even for like 5 minutes, but they have been releasing so many new variations of their Rodeo and Bel Air bags that I just had to see them in person. For instance, the Rodeo now comes in a little adorable pochette that's honestly a very decent size for a pochette, and more importantly, they now have a distressed leather finish that is so beautiful, and the feel of the leather was just absolutely heavenly. But what really blew my mind, quite unexpectedly, was the mini Bel Air in this canvas finish. Now, I thought I took a picture of me wearing it crossbody, but I just can't seem to find it. But yeah, I was not expecting to fall in love with this one. And finally, how silly and cute are these chip bags? I especially love the clutch, and if money was no object, I would buy one just for giggles. I actually think Kate Spade has something similar as well. And since money is an object, that just may be the route I have to take instead. We did also stop in Bottega, and again, I made a beeline for the dust bags. I did it last year and I did it again. This time, however, I also got to try on the new mini size, which can be cross-bodied, but honestly, that thing is useless because if you want to cinch it shut, you really cannot fit anything in there but a couple of mints. So it's still the original size for me. And out of all of the bags that I've seen and tried on this trip, the Bottega dust bag is probably my favorite. I just wish the original size can also be cross-bodied like the mini size. I'm sure I can find a way to jimmy rig it since there are 2 snap buttons at the end of the drawstrings, but I just hate spending so much money on something that I don't love like right out of the gate. By the way, Hermes is typically my priority boutique to visit, but on this trip, my husband was more excited than I was, only because he was looking for a specific leather bracelet. And I have another Hermes confession to make, but that will be in a future video soon. So let's just say I don't have any more Hermes money to spend, especially in the bag department. So while getting a bag was not the goal, I did ask to see some twillies and scarves, which they didn't have the ones I wanted. And for the first time, I did ask to see some of their costume jewelry bangles because they have a few versions with cats on them that I think are so adorable. But I know now that any and all Hermes bangles are off the table just because they do not fit me. Even the smallest size just slips right off of my wrist. So that dream has been put to rest. And last but not least, I did visit several Preloved stores as well, primarily so I can try on some vintage bags, since again, those are the ones I typically don't have a choice but to buy sight unseen online. Like this really cute Chanel diaper bag I've seen on Japanese eBay several times, happy to have seen it and tried it on in person. And of course, Preloved stores are also a great way to get your hands on Hermes bags, especially for me. There were several that are kind of low-key on my wish list, like the mini Her bag, the new mini garden party, and while this wasn't on my wish list, I'm reconsidering it now. It's the stunning Gillies Kelly 32. But yeah, I would say the mini garden party is still top of mind for me, and with each passing day, I feel more committed to finding one in a neutral color, even if it means stalking the Hermes website again. So there you have it. Let me know if you have any shopping plans this summer. Now, I've mentioned this before, but there's just something to be said about seeing things in person before making a decision, and that in itself is a luxury for me since I'm usually limited to doing blind buys online and just simply hoping for the best, especially when making online returns can be such a pain. So I do take my little excursions quite seriously. And it's just a great way to just help me permanently take things off my list. And every now and then, though, unexpected things creep on the list. So the summer is still young. We will see how I prioritize the rest of my shopping for the year. Anyways, thank you so much for sticking around until the bitter end. And if you enjoyed this video and your time here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I can't wait to see you back next time.